Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're a new viewer here, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and if you're not, I appreciate you for sticking around. I'm gonna give everyone watching right now in this moment 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button because it'll help me reach my goal in 1,000 subscribers, and I cannot do that without the help of you guys. So please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give your girl a thumbs up. I'm so excited for this journey. I've been consistent. I've been trying to get into the groove of the YouTube thing. So I hope you guys are enjoying my content and it'll only get better from here. I do want to put a little disclaimer out there that I am setting it up for a judge-free zone. I want my channel to be completely washed away from all negativity. I want to build a positive and supporting community. So if you're not up for that, then definitely this channel is not for you. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. I just decided that I would share this experience and this journey of mine because I feel like, one, it was very difficult and I got through it. Also, just because I've experienced and learned so much throughout the process that I just feel like I'm not the only one, obviously, that has gone through this, and this is not really spoken about much. So I just wanted to share my experience, and hopefully I do not cry because it has been really hard, but your girl is strong, and like I said, I got through this, so I can pretty much get through anything. I really don't even know where to start, but I guess I can start off by letting you guys know. I know I've mentioned it in a previous video, but I was diagnosed with PCOS back in 2022. And ever since then, I just had really low hopes that I would ever be able to get pregnant the natural way, as some of you may say. So it was something that was very, I don't know, it just wasn't in the cards for me as far as doing it naturally. It's never something I thought I can do on my own without the help of a fertility specialist or anything like that. I knew that I was gonna have difficulties and just experience stuff that not every woman experiences. So it was never in the back of my head, oh, I'm gonna get pregnant. I just never really paid mind to it. For those of you who don't know, PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's basically a hormonal imbalance that just affects everything quite a lot in a woman, mainly the reproductive system. It's really horrible. You experience weight gain, you experience facial hair, hyperpigmentation. I feel like that is a side effect that I had to deal with, but it's just a whole bunch of stuff that a woman just wouldn't want to go through. After having my surgery back in 2023, it all changed for me. I was going through a really hard time mentally and physically. Having the surgery was the push start that I needed, and it helped me as far as like my physical and health issues. It definitely helped tremendously. I no longer had high blood pressure. I no longer had scares of being pre-diabetic and stuff like that. And I also started getting my monthly cycles every month. That was also something that I hadn't experienced in a very long time. I would go months without having my period, and that was something that obviously a woman needs to get monthly to ovulate, to be able to conceive and all that stuff. So that's where it came from, and I just was like, oh, okay, I'm getting my period monthly. It's not regular, but it definitely is coming every single month, so that was a plus. I never looked at it like, oh, I no longer have PCOS. Said to myself like, oh, I'm getting my period monthly, which means that I can possibly be ovulating. Brandon and I had always spoke about starting a family, but we never really spoke about when was the right time. Just this past year, we actually sat down and said to ourselves like, okay, we for sure want to start a family, and we're only getting older, so we have to start thinking about these things because it'll only get harder as we get older. We definitely sat down and just confirmed with each other that this is something that we want to start. We never looked at it like, okay, we're gonna try every single time. We were just at a point where we're like, if it happens, it happens, and whatever is meant to be will be, and that's just that. We were just going with the flow and the motion, if you know what I'm saying. It wasn't until the past trip that I had, when we went to Vegas, I realized I hadn't gotten my period in a while. So in my head, I'm telling myself, like, I'm probably not pregnant, but let me just take a pregnancy test when I get back home to just make sure, because I've been getting my period monthly. So at that time, I was a little scared, but again, little hopes that it would be a positive, because one, I've never been pregnant, and two, I've been dealing with all these stuff like PCOS that obviously causes infertility and just issues all in all. So I really had high doubt that I was even pregnant or going to be pregnant. I did have a Dollar Tree pregnancy test. Why not? You're in Dollar Tree, just in case you want to have something. And I really didn't think that Dollar Tree pregnancy tests were even legit, but let me tell you, they're good. Okay, so if you're on a budget and you need to get an emergency pregnancy test, definitely go to Dollar Tree and grab yourself a few of those, because they do not lie. Okay, I was using an app called My Cycle, which is pretty accurate as far as like following the app. We did try one day on a day that I was most likely to conceive, and I think that was the day that, you know, it happened. I took the pregnancy test and it came out positive. At that point, Brandon was sleeping. So I actually took the pregnancy test on February 22nd, the day that we returned, and it came out positive. So initially, I had an appointment scheduled with a fertility specialist. That's what I had scheduled the following week. At that specific moment, I was so unsure and confused as to why my pregnancy test came out positive. It was a Saturday. I was calling the office trying to see if I can get a appointment that day just to confirm that this was indeed a positive pregnancy test, and they had no availability. So I called another GYN and they were able to get me seen that day. Lo and behold, the positive pregnancy was positive. I was, I believe, 4 weeks at that time. I went to the GYN. They said, you are for sure pregnant, but we want to see you in 2 days to do blood work and to also just confirm that this is not an ectopic pregnancy, because it is pretty early. I, again, did not tell anyone. I didn't even tell Brandon. I don't even think I told Brandon that day. I believe I told him 2 days after, because I really wanted to do things so differently, but God had other plans and it just didn't go that way. I go back 2 days after and they confirm again that I'm pregnant, but this time I see another doctor, not the first doctor that I had seen, and she pretty much tells me straight off rip, this is an ectopic pregnancy. You need to go to the emergency room like as soon as possible, because this can be harmful to you. At that point, I was just so confused, because I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Like, what is ectopic pregnancy? I was really unsure of all those things. I really didn't know anything, and it's so bad of me to not even have that knowledge of all that stuff, but I genuinely did not know anything. So she explained to me what an ectopic pregnancy was. At that time, I instantly start bawling. I'm by myself and I'm like, well, I don't have anyone to take me right now. Like, literally nobody knows that I'm pregnant. I'm doing this by myself, and yeah, I really don't want to go to the emergency room to have a procedure right now, and pretty much an emergency surgery, because I'm experiencing an ectopic pregnancy. Okay, I'll go. Drew my blood like 3 times within 4 days, and it was just horrible. End up going to my car, and the first person that I called was my sister. I'm like, sis, I didn't want to tell you this way, but I was supposed to be expecting, and they told me I'm going through an ectopic pregnancy, that I need to go get rushed to the hospital. If it wasn't for my sister and my mom, I literally do not know what I would have done. They were so supportive and just, they're just my rock. I love them to death, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. They were there literally for hours with me in the emergency room, trying to figure out what were my options, what do I do, all this stuff. At that time, I go to the emergency room and I'm there hours waiting for somebody to even come check me and see what's going on. They do some imaging, sonogram. They tell me, I don't know what it is that is going on, because I see a sac, gestational sac. I don't even know how to say that, but they basically saw the sac that they needed to see in my uterus. And they're like, it's there. Like, it's not outside. It's there. We don't know why they would tell you that it's an ectopic pregnancy. They referred to it as a angular pregnancy, which later on, 2 days after, find out that that's not even a term that they use anymore in the medical field. It's just ectopic or a regular pregnancy. So at this point, I was very confused, because I have one doctor telling me that I'm going through an ectopic pregnancy, and then they're telling me that, you know, this is an angular pregnancy and it could be dangerous, but some women go through it and have a successful and healthy pregnancy. At that time, I was so confused that, like, okay, they're telling me it's an ectopic pregnancy. Like, this is something new to me, and I just need to know, what do I do? Like, what do I do from here? I ended up just deciding that I was gonna leave and just go to the emergency room 2 days after that, because I was supposed to make sure that my levels were going up and it was indeed going to be a healthy pregnancy. So 2 days pass and I go to the emergency room again and have a new GYN. Something was just shaky with that GYN and I just didn't want to go back. I, at that time, didn't have an appointment scheduled. So they wanted to see me in the emergency room just because they had to do blood work and all that stuff, just to make sure that there was levels going up. HCG levels were going up and all that good stuff. So I go to the emergency room. I'm waiting hours again. They tell me that blood work is good. My levels are going up. We see the sac. It's where it has to be. It is lower and more to the right than usual, but it's not something that you should worry about too much. So I'm bawling because I'm just so confused. I'm like, wait a minute. I was told that this could be dangerous for me. I'm still early, and now you guys are telling me that it shouldn't be something I should worry about too much because the sac is there and everything is fine. My levels are going up and all that good stuff. Really, again, by myself, because I told my mom and my sister, like, there's no use of you coming to the emergency room because I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. They might have me here for hours and I just don't want you guys to wait like that. And the GYN comes in and she basically confirms, like, if this is a desired pregnancy, then I wouldn't make any decisions now. We don't want you to make any decisions at this moment because your levels are going up and all that stuff. So I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, I don't even know, like, the terminology that they're using. Like, I don't know anything. I'm so confused because I'm scared. This is my first pregnancy. This is something new for me. This is not something I want to hear. One doctor is telling me that it could be dangerous and harmful for me. It could rupture a whole bunch of stuff and, like, it could just cause many problems. And it's just, I was so confused at that moment and I had lost all hope. My mom spoke to the doctor. She was like, Mandy, just take it easy. You're going to be fine. Let's just follow up with the doctor in a week and see how your levels are doing. Week goes by. I was literally waiting for a call because they were going to tell me if my levels were going up. So I received the call, and I remember receiving the call during my trip to Costco's, and I received the call that everything is looking good. My levels are going up the way that they're supposed to. Everything looks fine, perfect. Okay. So I remember being in Costco's and just telling Brandon and my mom and my sister on FaceTime that everything was good. I'm excited. Now I'm getting all my hopes up. I'm just ready to become a mom. I am literally on mom mode, and I'm just putting everything in my cart, planning everything, and I was just so excited to get everything started. And you know, when you do all the cute little mom things as a new mom, I then scheduled an appointment for my new GYN, which my sister goes to, and God bless him because he was amazing. And I went to see him. He said, everything looks fine. I do want to see you in a week to just make sure that everything, you know, is going as planned. I was 8 weeks, I believe. So I'm so excited because I'm like, okay, I'm going to schedule my 10-week appointment, and I'm going to make sure that there's a heartbeat because I didn't hear that yet. I'm going to make sure everything is okay. I'm going to see my baby and all that stuff. So I was so excited for this appointment. Before my appointment, I was experiencing a little bit of spotting, but in some pregnancies, that's normal to experience spotting. But later on, I found out that it was because I was in the process of going through the miscarriage. I confided in my sister and told her, like, I'm bleeding a little bit. She's like, don't worry, this happened to me when I was pregnant. Like, you should be fine. But if it gets worse, then definitely just follow up with your doctor. But don't worry about it too much. Like, just take it easy. I was doing just that with worry in my heart because I'm like, what, blood? Whenever you're pregnant, you do not want to see blood. You don't want to hear blood. You don't want to look at blood. You don't want to do anything blood. I go to my 10-week appointment, and I remember Brandon took off from work. And I was just so excited to hear my baby's heartbeat, to hear that everything was going right. And that just didn't happen. I go to the appointment, and he does a sonogram. And he's like, okay, I'm noticing that baby's not measuring at 10 weeks. Instead, it was measuring at 8. And he instantly told me what really is concerning me is the baby's heartbeat. After he said that, he had us hear the heartbeat, and that was the hardest thing. That was hard. I don't want to mess up my makeup. I'm not gonna mess up my makeup. Okay, so, and at that time, the heartbeat was supposed to be like 100 and something, and it was at 30 something. He was very honest with me, which as a patient, I don't know if you guys are like that, but as a patient, I appreciate the honesty and the reassurance from doctors. You know, at that time, it wasn't reassurance, but it was more so like preparing me for what I was going to go through. He's like, you know, I hate to be so honest with my patients, but you can come to me next week and the heartbeat could go up. But right now, I do not like the sound of that heartbeat, and because you're spotting and you're starting to bleed, this does look like an early sign of a miscarriage. So he's basically telling me, you know, I like to be 100% honest. Things could change. Like, you can come see me again and everything can go up, but right now, because you're experiencing the bleeding, and from my experience, it just looks like you may experience a miscarriage. I want to prepare you because it can happen this weekend. I believe it was a Thursday that I had my appointment, and it started to get pretty serious. The following day, started bleeding. I was experiencing cramping, and it was just very painful. I told myself I wasn't gonna cry because I already done that, but I just want to make this video because I feel like a lot of women don't talk about the emotions and the grief that we go through and just the experience that women have. It was probably the hardest thing that I had to deal with, other than my mom, you know, being sick back a few years ago. It was definitely something very hard to deal with, and especially knowing that it was coming was even worse. I had lost all hope, and I feel like had I had hope, I don't know if things would have changed. I really don't think it would have. I feel like God just had other plans for me. That Sunday, I had experienced the miscarriage. It was the hardest thing that I ever had to deal with. It was the hardest thing physically that I've ever experienced. And I truly don't think I would have been able to get through it if it wasn't for Brandon and my mom and my sister. They were really my backbone during this time. Although my doctor kind of did prepare me for it, I was never prepared for something so difficult. This was harder than I thought. I feel like going through this made me and Brandon's relationship 100 times stronger. I did all things that I can possibly do to make sure that me and the baby would grow. It didn't go as planned. And although this was not a, precise planned pregnancy, it was definitely a desired pregnancy and something that I really, really looked forward to. Lost hope for a little bit, but I had to really think to myself, like, I told myself I wasn't gonna cry. I had to really think to myself, like, Amanda, God gave you the amazing gift in being able to conceive. Like, I thought that would never be possible. I really had to like switch the negative and make it into a positive and just say to myself, like, you were able to carry. Like, even though it didn't work out in your favor, you were able to conceive, were able to create something so beautiful. I just had to tell myself, like, it just wasn't my time at that moment. Going through this, I had such a good support system. I'm honestly so grateful for my family and my boyfriend. I had to think of his feelings as well. He was the best partner I could have asked for during that time. He was very supportive, very hands-on, very just helpful. Alongside everything that I was going through, I had to remember that he has feelings and emotions as well. So we were both going through it. I have so much faith now, looking back, that when my time comes, it's gonna be the most amazing thing. It's gonna be the most beautiful thing in the world, for me at least. He's still healing. I'm still going through it, because at times I feel like I question myself a lot. I think to myself, like, dang, what could I have done differently? What can I have changed about the things that I was doing? And experiencing a lot of guilt and just anger, and I questioned a lot. But I don't ever want to do that again, because God always has a plan for you. Even though things don't happen the exact way that you want it, God has a plan for everyone. I just feel like my blessing just wasn't given to me at the right time. I just can't wait for a new chapter of my life, of when I'm ready to be able to become a mom and experience all the good things. Still a work in progress, but I am so grateful for the family that I have. I'm so grateful for my partner. I'm just so grateful for not giving up and not losing hope fully, because I'm not gonna lie, at one point during that time I lost all hope. It definitely took me a little while to gain that back. I pray that I just have a amazing and healthy pregnancy. If anybody watching this is experiencing or may have gone through the same thing, just know you're not alone. You are so strong. You're gonna get through it, whether you're pregnant, whether you're going through a miscarriage at this moment. I pray for your healing. I need to find my peace and happiness again, I feel. But yeah, I just thought I'd share my experience. I am still healing, and I'm excited to see what God has planned for me. And when that time comes, I'll be able to show and share all the good things. But I feel like this is my virtual diary, and I want to share every single thing that goes on that I feel comfortable with sharing. So if you stuck around this long, I truly appreciate you. I think I'm gonna close out today's video. I don't know if I missed anything, but it was kind of just all over the place. But I definitely wanted to express and just kind of close this chapter of my life. As far as healing, I feel like I'm probably never gonna heal from it, but I am gonna try my best to just stay positive and continue to turn the negative into a positive. I feel like everybody has their own strength, and I feel like I'm a badass bitch, okay? I feel like I am so strong. I can get through anything. I'm very strong. My body showed me that I am tough. Okay? I can get through a lot. Anyways, I am gonna close this video by saying I'm spreading all the love and hope for anybody that may need it. I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please, again, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.